we have hit the worst part of the World Cup, in my view. The first day where there are no games. There are no games tomorrow, and it makes me very sad.
No games and some surprises, some unsatisfactory surprises coming for this weekend. Then
We should tell you, this is USfanTV. Normally, typically, on a normal day, we talk about the United States and our team, but our team isn't in this tournament, and this tournament's what we want to talk about. So we're breaking from our normal discussion about the U.S. to discuss the World Cup and the rest of the world. And yeah, no games tomorrow
some
because the knockout stage starts Saturday. I cannot believe we are this far, but it isn't without
some
craziness.
things though, some things relating to our team. Germans continued to fail the U.S. As demonstrated by the outcome versus one Mexico.
Let me
Panama.
just ask you, Chris, real quick.
I have to give big props to Tunisia for for making sure Panama went out with three straight losses because I'm sorry, they didn't belong there. They didn't deserve to be there, and I can't stand. I forget often. Roma Torres is right up there with the rest of the guys that like I just hate. I cannot stand. He's nothing but a scumbag. He's a straight up thug who just tries to hurt people.
Oh,
I
they
can't
played like
stand him.
that team played like complete assholes, and
Yeah, and
they did us
they
no
played
favor. Like,
exactly like he
yeah,
is. Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was. I mean, I say what you will about Mexico, but I mean, they didn't play well against Sweden, but they've represented our confederation well in the tournament. They've done well. They nearly went out with 6 points for the first time a team ever did that, but they've done well. But yeah, Panama did not represent CONCACAF well at all, not from a quality
Or I don't
standpoint.
know, based on last year's hex, maybe they represented Concacaf perfectly.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, that may be true. The Germany game, Chris, that felt like something you and I are used to watching.
Very much so. Very much
To
so.
the
It was
point where
very Arsenal-y.
how many? Yeah, I mean, it obviously
500 passes within 5 yards of the box and no idea of what to do beyond that.
no one
Just
who can
like
actually finish.
slowing the game down so much that the entire opposing team is able to move back and get between you and the goal right inside the box and just I hate the cliche, but park the bus and you are left to try and figure out how to break it down and there's no idea of how to do it.
And you know what?
It looked just like Arsenal for the last
And you even
four
texted
years
me
at
like
least.
81st minute or something. You're like, this isn't happening. I'm like, I know, I know it's not. They're not going to score. It's it felt exactly like it, and then it brings up the inevitable link between the two teams, Mesut Ozil, and I think that while he shares blame, I don't think he was particularly even close to being the worst player out there, and especially in that final game against South Korea. So I don't think Death Frog is totally to blame here.
No, I agree with the point that he wasn't showing a lot of enthusiasm. He wasn't showing heart. He didn't. He looked like the U.S. did against TNT.
That's how he always
Most of Germany
looks.
did, and yeah, part of it is that's how he always looks. Now, it once in a while he does show some fire, but it is so rare that yeah, it's hard to say that this is behind it, but. Um, the one game they did win was the one he didn't start.
Yeah, I mean it's
I,
you and I had a lengthy text conversation about this, and on one hand, you looked at stats like chances created. He had the most chances created against South Korea in the tournament so far, and the most since he did it in the 7-1 game against Brazil 4 years ago. Uh, on the other hand, he was in the team for the two losses. They, failed to finish anything. And as you point out, the one thing you can say about him is that everybody dogs him for his defense, but he also rarely will take a shot. And
yeah,
because you have a guy out there playing an attacking position who basically refuses to shoot, the defense knows that.
it's much easier to mark him.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch and Ronaldo gets at least double teamed at all times. Now, I'm not saying Ozil's exactly the same, but he is a world class player or has world class ability. World class players, top world class players, do get multiple defenders on them. Ronaldo always gets at least 2 defenders. Messi gets 3 to 5. Ozil, you just need 1 most of the time. Like maybe you bring another to kind of shade for the ball when he has it, but that's about it. Like you don't ever have to kind of cover him because he's probably not making it to the 6-yard box. He's probably gonna stay somewhere edge of the 18-ish, and he's not gonna shoot. So it makes it a lot easier for the keeper. It makes it a lot easier for the defenders. My take on him, and this is why, for all his skill, I've never been sold on him even at Arsenal. And I hate to say that because it's not like I want to knock him because he is fantastic. I mean, his abilities are amazing. But to me, he is such a specialized player that you need everything else in place before you can really use him. He's not going to play defense. He's not going to finish a goal most of the time. So he's really only effective in kind of 2/3 of the final third. Like in between that, he's not one of the guys who's going to move the ball up the field. So if you give him the ball at midfield, he's not getting it to the end line. He's not getting it down to serve across there. He might play a long ball through sometimes, but for the most part, he needs someone else. He needs like all these other guys to support him in order for him to do like his one kind of magic trick. And to me, those guys are so hard to fit into a lineup because you need everything else in place. And this was a team that Germany, you would say, had all the pieces in place, but clearly in their heads didn't.
Germany is the definition up until this point of, working together, machine-like play, like a well-oiled machine, like a race car, and they were not that. And I don't know if it was because there were reports of an Ozil camp and a Thomas Muller camp, and they were feuding, or if people were pissed because Leroy Sané wasn't included, or if Yogi Löw just kind of took his foot off the gas and got a little cocky, or what it was. But I mean, we do have to note though that in recent history, most of the time, teams that win the World Cup go out in the group stage the next tournament. So it's not shocking from that standpoint, but this is Germany. This is a team that never does that. And so to see Germany do this stuff, the whole sports world is kind of flipped on its head at this point. So I guess it's nothing surprising anymore, but even this still was surprising to me. And then the fact that Sweden did what they needed to do to eliminate our neighbors to the south. Yeah, and Germany still couldn't score.
I was going to say, like, Mexico fully, like, Mexico'd their game. I mean, they completely overlooked Sweden, or thought like they were hot shit and would just cruise by. Ended up even having an own goal. Like we were laughing. It was going to be 2-0, and all Germany needed to do was get a goal, and Mexico was going to get sent home. And yes, Cesar, I think it was your comment before. No, I'm still going to dog Mexico. They've been fantastic so far. I'll give, aside from the Sweden game, I will give them that. But hell no, I'm not going to give them credit. They're still the biggest rival we have. No, I will not support them. I will not value their continued play in the tournament.
I do support their fans finding random Korean people and making them drink tequila, though.
Or making, what was it, like the Korean ambassador come out and drink tequila. There are certain things that are
support that.
Yeah, even that, I'm gonna say, that was pretty awesome. Like they've been fun. I don't feel as bad about some of the times that they outnumber us in stadiums when it's like they're outnumbering Germany in Russia. Like, how the hell are they doing this?
But to be fair, Chris, I think there is an element of fear of Germans going into Russia. It usually does not end well for them.
You just stole Chris's joke. Yeah,
that is a joke I've made a few times. Yes, that their attempts to conquer Russia continue to peter out as they travel east.
I don't think there is a fan base that has shown up better. I don't even know if Brazil has in this tournament than
England
Mexico.
is the closest.
Yeah, in Mexico, I mean, hats off. You're amazing when it comes to traveling.
Colombia has been loud. Colombia's been loud in
their
stadiums. I don't know if they're number-wise, but they've been loud. Really, really. Did I miss the part where we were talking about the sitters that Hummel missed over the course of the three games?
I did mention it when Chris was going. Ozil served that one up on a silver platter for him. That he wandered that with his head.
They had a number of misses in that game. They could have easily scored. I mean, in many ways, that was the U.S. versus TNT. It was like, you're clearly the better team. You have chances, but you're not making them, and you don't seem to be that enthusiastic about what's going on. Like, you kind of seem like you're ready to go home.
Well, was it that, or was it a case of they just thought they could kind of sleepwalk through the first round?
Maybe.
And then they could turn it off, because they're so used to it, and they got old.
I mean, historically they are kind of a slow starting team. And, they're able to do that because they're Germany. Two teams play for 90 minutes and Germany wins.
They have looked kind of like shit in their last several friendlies, though, including the one that I went to in Berlin. It was a 1-0 loss to Brazil, but they created a few chances in the first half of that game, but they just didn't look right. But they were also missing some key players that game, and it's but to see their full squad, and I don't even know what to say. I'm afraid to choose another team. I laid it out there with Germany about the jersey.
I very intentionally did not wear my Messi jersey in Argentina's last game.
And I would normally I would say that was the difference, but I'm pretty sure it was that ribbon the reporter gave him from his mom that was actually the difference with that. So, Chris, we're going to let you off the hook on this one. So, if you wear your Messi jersey in the next round, they're screwed. So,
I'll be at a funeral Saturday morning, so I won't even get to watch the game. So
it doesn't mean you won't have a Messi jersey on underneath your suit, though.
Hunter, I'm with you. Sandro Wagner would have been a solid choice for this team. I think that there were some reports that he was maybe kind of a dick, disruptive a bit, but he's a real ass striker, and Timo Werner didn't show too well. And I do wonder if and when Lewandowski leaves, I kind of thought that Bayern would go by Timo Werner, and I don't know that they will now. So I mean, who knows? But
not that Lewandowski was that good with Poland either.
No, definitely not. But Poland always does that. So Poland was kind of par for the course for them. Any other before we're going to go through like the round of 16 matchups and then kind of give our picks, but any other what have we not talked about since the last show? When did we even last do a show?
Did we talk about Maradona on coke in the last one? We haven't talked about he gave probably coke to someone else in the stands.
Yes, he
had doctors have to come care for him during the game.
Okay,
thank God. But we need Maradona to be Maradona. I mean, the only thing we need is like in the box is we need an Argentina-Brazil game, and then the box next to him is with Ronaldinho with like all these women, with like 50 women,
many wives. Yes, it's amazing to me because if it were anyone else, I'd be like, get this washed up piece of shit off my TV. I don't need a shot of him every 30 seconds, but I do need a shot every 30 seconds because something's always happening. He's giving the double middle finger. He's doing cocaine. He's passed out. Every time they cut to him, something
insane is happening.
Now, does it make you wonder? Doesn't it make you wonder what they didn't show him doing on the sidelines when he was managing them? Did he pass out there a few times? Was he doing coke on this? I'm curious when he managed him in the World Cup. What was he really doing on the sideline that they didn't show him? I mean, I'm sure he wasn't Yogi Lovin's, scratching his nuts, smelling it, but
he's a lunatic, though. Like everything is 150 miles an hour with this guy. He's gonna die spectacularly.
I haven't
when it does happen.
I haven't seen it. I somehow missed it even during the game. But apparently in the first game, because it's become a big thing. Well, it was in that article that I think we all commented about that people should read about how people in Argentina believe that the team needs huevos.
Right. Yeah.
He like stood up and grabbed his balls. Like, come on.
It's like I said, it's Maradona. You're damn glad he's being Maradona, because if the game sucks, they can just put the camera on him. I think Fox should, because they have all their tactical cams and that. They should have the Maradona cam. Have it
where
split
you
screen.
Just have it on your laptop. Yeah, it would be amazing.
Split screen.
They could put him in one of those little ovals like they do with the sign language person.
Now we're on to something. Yeah, that would work. But at that point, would you want the sound on the game or the announcers, or would you want it on Maradona, even though you don't speak Spanish, just to hear the slurring, the stumbling, the passing out, and so on and so forth?
I speak some Spanish.
Okay.
See, we might not get to it tonight, but Tony Meola calling the Senegalese people like bush people that just whack it forward and don't know how to play soccer 20 years ago, that was not that cool on his part. And I like Tony Meola, but that's going to come back to haunt him, I think. But yeah, the fact that Maradona is so insane that every time they cut to him, he's doing something crazy, and he's on TV for a second, and yet he's able to do it in that moment. I don't know how he does that, but the fact that it almost overshadows the fact that we're watching Messi.
A little bit, which could even be part of his plan.
But there's absolutely something to that.
Yeah.
That touch off the left thigh to the left metatarsal down to shoot a right-footed shot was
metatarsal. Yeah, he had 2 touches out of the air where like most people couldn't even have one.
Yeah, it was like what, a 30-40 yard pass. He just killed it. Just set it in front of him.
Like, it was the second touch really for me that was like I've watched. I've never been able to do it myself, but I've certainly watched other people like leaping through the air, bring a ball down. Dennis Bergkamp or something, like just almost like you caught it with your hand, and I just bring it right down. How he managed to like play it off himself to himself. You're talking about like multiple things you have to do there in a tenth of a second at most.
Yeah, it was one of the things where you watch it at speed and I have no idea what just happened, and they had to get that shot where it slowed down from the other angle to actually see what he did, because at speed it's just like what. And then, like you say this like every time we talk about him on this show, Chris, but you understand what Ronaldo does.
Yeah.
You have no idea how Messi does what he does, and that's
there's another player short of. I suppose you could say the same with like Maradona, where I don't know how he does the things he does. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm gonna channel my inner Chris on this one and just be like, it's Messi. We've seen him do it before. It's nothing unusual. I mean, I'm bored with it. Come on. Okay, never mind. That was absolutely outstanding.
No, but he probably will be. I mean, that's where this is going eventually. Is Maradona's going to be boning some chick?
Well, and what's crazy? FIFA is paying him to be there, and paying him a lot. Like, I don't even remember what it is. It's a ridiculous amount of money that they're paying him. I wonder, are they also supplying the drugs, or is like Vladimir Putin himself supplying the drugs? Like, where are the drugs coming from? Granted, when you're somebody like when you're a rock star, effectively, there's somebody who's got it who will of course hook you up no matter where you are in the world.
Here's all right. Here's my question for the night: in a battle of doing bumps of cocaine, who wins, Maradona or Keith Richards?
Oh God, no, actually, Maradona or Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know. Have you seen? I had never seen this because of what's going on. Somebody circulated a video on Twitter that he was playing in like a charity game or something, and he scores a goal, and someone brings a bag out onto the field.
Just coke on the field.
Literally takes a bump right there on the field.
Yeah, It's
Maradona. Like I said, we need to have Maradona make this World Cup more tolerable.
It's the metatarsal, bro. Well done, Roger.
Well, I'm just curious. Is metatarsal the biggest word we've used on this show?
It's got to be up there. Yeah,
it's a fair chance.
I guess we can say Pat is now our big toe, like Sergeant Hulka.
Michael says Marquez is giving him the drugs. Yeah, I mean, he does have the connections. That is well played, my friend.
That is the best answer. Well done, Michael. Well played, sir. Well played.
And I got here. Let me throw this question at you. So we obviously Senegal got ousted because of the yellow card rule. They had too many yellow cards. How does that happen? And not for karma's sake, having Luis Suarez involved in some capacity. I would think when it comes to something, you needed Suarez to be involved with there in some way.
Unbelievably, he has been no teeth this tournament.
It has been a fine tournament as far like there's been crazy stuff that happened, but it's soccer related. It's not. It hasn't been the somebody bit somebody or type. That stuff has been pretty limited. There have been some VAR questionable calls, but I honestly don't think it's been out of control.
No,
it's just that the crazy stuff that's happening is like England's doing well and Germany sucks.
Of course, England hasn't had to go to penalties yet, so
it's true. And today, I don't know. There should be like, if they just don't want to play the game, maybe there should be some sort of way to not play. I don't know. It obviously you got to play it because it's got to be on TV and there are tickets sold. But clearly, England and Belgium did not actually want to.
They didn't put first team guys out there. I get that. But you don't think those second team guys weren't out there busting their tails because they want to play?
It's actually better that they put the second team guys out there because the second team guys want to show something. So, and
it was kind of the battle of teams who wanted to win by doing as little as possible. Though.
I was about to say, and speaking of the VAR, seeing the Geiger show and Geiger getting it 100% spot on, doing that right with that Germany-South Korea game.
I hate to say it, but yeah, I think he was right too.
Geiger was good in that game. I mean, I had nothing.
I mean, a Geiger late decision bailed out Mexico again. But I think in this case it was right. So.
Did he ask for a Marquez jersey or was he doing tequila shots on the field?
He may not have asked for it, but he's getting it, I'm sure, in the mail. Then they can ring up a mail fraud charge on Rafa.
Moment of the tournament, is it Messi's goal or Michi's goal celebration?
Oh, the goal celebration was amazing. His tweet afterwards was too. He knew his mentions were going to blow up right after it happened. I like the one
that was Fortnite celebration, so overrated, bro. I had to create something new.
Yeah, it's Messi's goal is probably number one. Toni Kroos's free kick in the 95th minute against Sweden was pretty freaking amazing.
That ball was I mean, that definitely made me say wow. Like he yelled wow and holy shit, I think, out loud to see that. That was pretty incredible. Messi's, I guess, kind of like TJ was saying before, like to a certain extent, while it was incredible, there is a certain level of but it's Messi, so you're kind of like, well, maybe like was it incredible for him? Like I think it's just a little bit he gets kind of robbed, where it's like he has to like play to his peak before you're like, no, that was the goal of the tournament or something.
I mean, I hate to say it, for me, peak Messi was when he took Boateng and put him on the ground.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because it happened to Boateng, so it couldn't happen to a better guy that way. So,
speaking of that,
made him trip over his own 2 feet. Yeah.
Speaking of Boateng, what a fucking moron to pick up a second yellow in the end of that. Sweden. It's. I mean, what are you? Doesn't matter now. They're done, and they ended up winning that particular game anyway. But it doesn't matter. What else do you guys think? What before we talk about the future, and we will talk about Dave Sarakin too. Before we talk about the future, what do you guys think was the Boateng to the Chicago Fire? The sad part is I don't know if you're joking or not. It seems like a rumor that would be true. What were the things that stood out for you guys in the group stage?
Croatia's really good.
Yeah,
I would not want to watch
them. Way better than I expected going in. I'll give my heads up on picks for the next round. I'm picking Croatia.
And I have to agree with Chris. Which really pains me, but yeah.
I'm going old Spur over current Spur in Modric over Eriksson.
San Antonio Spurs?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Are there other ones?
And Denmark's doing it without the Lord, you guys. I don't know how, but
if Denmark plays Argentina, could we put Lord Nick and Maradona together?
Oh, God, that would be fun too. Because he believes he's actually better than Maradona. Like he knows in his mind he's better than Maradona.
Yeah.
And the other one, yeah, I see Ben Matthew talking about Uruguay. I mean, that'll be the other one. I hate the forecast. Them two. I wouldn't want to play them.
I want to see what they look like against
that
a
group
better
was really
opponent.
shitty. Yeah,
I
want to see them out of that group.
It's hard for me to say. On the one hand, yes, they were doing a lot of things well. I have to say their central defense pairing is maybe one of the best in the tournament. But I want to see them, and you can't count out. I mean, look, Suarez is an incredible striker. I mean, you give him a chance to score. Either he's going to put one away, or he's going to draw so much of your defense's attention that someone else can easily score. So they're definitely dangerous. They definitely need Suarez out there. Godin as well, but I don't know. I'm not going to put faith in them until I see them really play a true opponent.
Well, they will.
Portugal will be a tough one. I mean, my take is they could probably beat Portugal. I don't think they can beat Cristiano Ronaldo right now.
Well, and I was going to kind of throw this question to you with because we were talking about Messi earlier and how great he is, and he makes the people. And we talk about Ronaldo making people better, but is Suarez a better player all the way around because of his time with Messi? Like he sees the game better than he did prior to where he comes. And I guess
is he better now than Liverpool Suarez was? I mean, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I think what I've watched in this tournament is Suarez is much better than he was 4 years prior.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's Messi. Maybe it's just 4 more years experience, because it's not like it's not. Even I have to say, it's not like he sucked at Liverpool.
True.
And maybe not. And I shouldn't say Messi, but just his time with Barcelona, maybe as a whole. I guess that might be a better way of phrasing it.
Or maybe by being with Barcelona, he's been able to kind of focus on his role more. He doesn't have to do as much really with Barcelona, because he has so many incredible players around him that can either draw attention from the defense or serve a ball to him. Whether that be Messi, Iniesta, to talk about Croatia again, Rakitic and Modric together. I think right now they have the best midfield in the World Cup. France, I would say, has the skill to trump them, but they've yet to truly show it. So I don't know. I don't know what to think yet of France. Like on the one hand, they're winning, and you have to say that teams that are winning even when they're not playing particularly well are good teams, because think about if they get it together. But again, I don't know. I mean, I want to see them truly have to kind of put it all together. If they can do that, I think I have them picked to trump Argentina. Argentina in that last game showed why they could win the World Cup, but they also showed why they struggled to get out of their group. On the one hand, when they've got kind of their hearts in it and their attacking prowess is working together, they're kind of unstoppable. Then you add Messi to it too. They can bounce the ball around anyone, whether dribbling or passing. They can run circles around you.
All right,
they also
screw it.
Can
I'm doing
totally give up and let you let you run the field behind them and basically not even attempt to stop you on defense. So,
all right, I'm doing the France and Russia joke. I'm going to play the France and Russia joke card right now. They have not had particular success in Russia either, as we've seen in the past. So I think we've just forecasted my prediction, because I can't agree with Chris more than once, and I've already done it twice, and it's pissing me off.
We had a question about the Ronaldo VAR red card situation. I think it was probably a red card.
It was a red.
I'm glad it wasn't.
He got off because it's Ronaldo.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't. And that's unfair. Like that, most guys I would have been like, yes, that's a red card, but I want to watch him. So, and I think that
he's been so good, at least through the first 2 games of the tournament, that I don't want to see him come off the field, because I think he makes it more interesting.
Even when he's doing incredibly stupid things way far away from the ball.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he wasn't great in the 3rd game. but
he was pretty good in the first game.
A little bit.
Before we do the predictions, you're the better person than me at shitting on Harry Kane, but to give him all these accolades over that hat trick when it was 2 penalties, well taken penalties, I will say. He smashed the shit out of them. Well done. You know, Ronaldo and Messi have both had penalties saved this tournament.
Very true.
But the third one hit him in the heel. He wasn't even looking.
Yeah. I don't even think he knew it hit him. Yeah, that's kind of like when they give those own goals that to me are like, but like if you're a defender and you're showing effort and you're trying, like if it was probably going to be a goal, like it would have gotten through somehow, and you were like diving in to get this ball, and while you're sliding, it bounces wrong, it goes in the net. I feel it's unfair that it gets credited as an own goal. To me, that's unfairly credited to Kane as a goal. Now we all know he'll make sure it's credited to him regardless.
Yeah,
but yeah, like all the talk of how great he's playing and you know of him potentially winning the Golden Boot race, it's penalties and a lucky goal, basically. I want to see him actually score some real goals because it's a little unfair to say that penalties are gimmies because after all, we have seen Messi and Ronaldo both screw them up in this tournament. But for the most part, if you can truly hit anywhere in the goal, you know where you're going, you hit it as hard as you can, and generally a keeper can't save it. It's crappy penalties that get saved generally. It's awfully hard if you can put it right up in the upper corner or hard enough in one of the lower corners, it's hard for a goalie to reach that area without moving ahead of time. And granted, they usually get away with that, but it's hard to make that save. I mean, it's up there with shooting free throws. These should be like gimme goals. And so, yeah, it's I guess, a sign of maybe Kane's self-conscious right now or you know, his self-belief right now that he is taking them as well, because certainly Messi and Ronaldo, I think, missed both of theirs or had like screwed them both up because I think they were it was in their heads.
Well, also Messi and Ronaldo have been so well scouted that I'm pretty you know.
And Harry Kane, neither of them took very good penalties.
I'm not saying they were good, but because they've been so well scouted, I think you're right. It's in their head.
Yeah.
That said, Harry Kane, great. Let's see him do it. Let's see him do it when it counts. When you know, in penalty kicks, with the weight of England on your shoulder. I think part of the happy press is England doesn't suck, so their press is just completely fellatiating them.
He's not a really good player. It's just like I have a problem with all the celebration over the hat trick. Like that hat trick to me has an asterisk with it. It was
absolutely. It's like when a receiver dumps the ball into a corner's hands and it gets ruled as an interception. Like that wasn't an interception. That should have been a fumble or something. You know, that should be credited to the receiver. I think that shot should be credited to, I don't even remember who the defender was who took that.
Okay, we'll do Dave Sarakin in a minute, but let's go through our round of 16 selections, and it starts Saturday with France and Argentina. We're not messing around. What do you guys think will happen there?
My take is France, because Argentina, while they did show kind of some moments of brilliance in that game, I've yet to see anything that truly shows they'll carry it through. If maybe they figure out whatever it is amongst themselves. I mean, hell, Sampaoli may not be coaching that team at all. It may just be Messi determining the lineup, the formation, the
very
style
LeBron-esque.
of play. Yeah. And hey, it worked for them the other day for the most part, finally. But I've yet to see enough that says they can do that consistently, and their defense is inept, or at least the base of their midfield and their defense has not worked well enough to control or to hold another team back. And when you've got a midfield of the kind that France has, I just don't see Argentina being able to stop it for 90 minutes.
And what will Maradona do to top his previous performance?
I think
Sex is a good answer.
I think he's doing a bump off a hooker's ass. Now I'm going to go with my prediction because, well, Chris, you're wrong. If France cannot,
I'd be happy to be wrong. I'd love it
if France's defense can't stop Julian Green, they aren't stopping Messi. And I mean that with a little bit of sarcasm, but at the same time, if Argentina plays counter ball, which let France's midfield possess like the U.S. did, that's the playbook. Can you see him springing Messi and not somebody like Julian Green or Bobby
Having
Wood?
said that, though, I mean, France did play with their foot off the gas in that game against the U.S. because they clearly didn't want to get hurt. This game will be far more important. You would think they'd be more determined to win.
I am saying France wins.
You're saying France, Patrick?
Olivier Giroud brace.
Although I think Robert Cordova is the best thing. Maradona's going to jump off the stands when Argentina loses. Oh, by the way, I am taking notes here, by the way. So
that doesn't seem crazy to me that he would like. That's plausible. Yeah.
For him, it's completely normal.
The other game Saturday is Uruguay and Portugal.
I'm going Portugal because of Ronaldo. I think Uruguay could beat Portugal straight up, but Ronaldo's playing at another level right now. And even if, say, Portugal is 3/4 as good as Uruguay right now or something,
boy, those are
Ronaldo
two really good
makes them it takes them to 11.
I think the idea of a brace might be a good idea, but it's Luis Suarez is going to have it. Uruguay wins.
I'd be happy with that too, but I just don't see.
And right now,
Ronaldo
I feel like I can't agree with you. I've done that once. That's
yeah, I'll say Portugal. The matchup everybody would be dying to see in the quarterfinal is Argentina and Portugal. Yeah. That would blow things up. I don't think it's going to happen, but I really hope it does. Sunday is Spain beating Russia, unless Russia can somehow cook something up.
Why do you say
I think for this? I think for this one, we need, because we're all going to pick Spain. We need to pick the score on this one. I think that's the fun thing to do with this.
3-1.
I was going to say 3-0.
I was going to say 6. I think they're dropping a 6. I think Spain is getting.
It's not impossible.
I think Spain's getting their kinks out and that's going to be Spain's coming out party because they've looked shaky. I think that they go, okay, we got an easy. Let's get into shape. Let's get into the game here.
I think if they are winning at halftime, they are going to be not so gently advised to not embarrass Mother Russia in the second half.
Good point. 6 versus putting a 9 spot on them, which I wouldn't rule out of it.
I think 6 gets like Iniesta plutonium poisoning or something.
That's possible too.
Croatia and Denmark. Croatia. I don't think we even need to debate that one either. But
yeah, that one.
No offense to Denmark, who's been fine, but
Denmark has a good team. They definitely would be a team to be feared if not for Croatia's midfield.
Monday, El Tri and Brazil.
I'm going Brazil, but I'm actually not as confident in it as I normally would be. I'm not sold on Mexico because I
told you what you need to do.
I know.
You need to back and support Mexico, and they will wither and die as fast as possible. But
Pat, if they make the semifinals, are we buying him a Mexico jersey just because this needs to end?
I think we have to.
You guys are giggling, but I'm not joking about this.
Yeah. I think Mexico. I know Grant Wall picked before the tournament even started. He picked Mexico to beat Brazil in that game.
I don't
think it's crazy to think they do it. I think Brazil will win, but
if Osorio can put a plan together like he did with Germany, I'm not saying it's impossible, but Brazil's looking better than even I kind of expected them to coming into the tournament.
I mean, Mexico has looked okay the first couple. Obviously, they looked like crap the last one. But Brazil hasn't really. I haven't sat there and looked at Brazil and go, oh my gosh, they're so much better.
Yeah.
There have been individual moments for Brazil, but not a total game. No.
I'm going to predict. I'm going to take Mexico in penalties. 0-0 goes to penalties, or 1-1.
If Mexico is to win, that may be the way to do it, or they get a sneaky one on a counterattack. So, I think Brazil wins, but I don't think it's crazy to think Mexico wins, and that pains me to say. Belgium and Japan. I mean, Belgium, right?
Belgium, yeah.
Sorry, Shinji Kagawa. Love you, but...
Japan hasn't looked that amazing. Belgium. There's a reason they won the group.
Let me throw this one. I mean, let me ask this question. Japan made it through, but without that 5th-minute red card against Colombia, Belgium, and that's part of why Japan made it through off of a gift of a red card that early. So yeah, that's probably Belgium. Fair. Belgium probably 3. I'm going to say probably 3-0. I think they get it done pretty soundly.
And then Tuesday is Hitler's neutral friends, Sweden and Switzerland. And then Colombia and England.
Those are more interesting games in terms of they could possibly go either way. Switzerland will be without Liechtensteiner. I don't know where to go on that one.
Well, let me ask first, Chris. If Sweden had Zlatan,
I would be for Sweden then. Like I do think that this is a more well-rounded team.
For sure, yeah.
Having said that, Zlatan would have scored some of those goals.
Well, I saw something earlier in the chat that it was talking about. It said Sweden is better without Zlatan, but I think Zlatan is better without Sweden as well. And also,
I wish he was here. It would be more fun.
And I know, Chris, you were checking out the ESPN body issue as well. Zlatan with the tattoos on his ass. Is there anything more Zlatan than that?
I have not seen this.
I haven't either. Sounds like you got
look it up. Look it up. You guys you'll understand. You see the picture, you go, yep, that's Zlatan. So, Chris, who did you say?
I guess I'd go Switzerland. But I'm not really sold on either team. I think this is a softer game. This is a much more even match than most. I'm
going to say the Swiss
of the round of 16. Actually, I kind of feel the same about Colombia, England. I think England beats them right now because I do think they're playing pretty well, and things are just going their way. I mean, you shoot an accidental ball into Harry Kane's feet and it pops into the goal. Like anything could happen for them right now. As long as that continues, hell, you could see them in the final.
I could see David Ospina getting scored on by Harry Kane quite a few times.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think England wins that game too. So, and then we'll probably have a show for you after that round of games is over.
I guess we go back through both of those. It's close. I agree with you on Switzerland, but I've been bullish on Colombia just after watching them playing a man down as well as they did. I get it's against Japan, but to play that well, a man down, I think Colombia. I think England goes home, and if Belgium wasn't playing Japan, they'd go home. So I think England, it's peak England. They're going to go home famously. And now you guys are looking at the pictures of Zlatan's ass.
He just texted us.
That's not really his ass, is it?
Yes, it is. Unfortunately,
that looks like something that if you stare at it long enough, it hypnotizes you. It you enter his ass.
Scroll down a little further. You'll see the full picture, Chris. Scroll down a little further.
That's something right there.
I think we just found our screen capture, by the way.
Yeah.
World Cup, it's Zlatan's ass. Yeah, where were we now?
It's distracting.
So that probably covers, I think, the World Cup. On to Dave Sarachan.
Yes, I think I don't know what TJ is going to say, but I think, Chris, our take on it is going to be incredibly meh. It's not that big of a deal.
No,
but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think what it does is World Cup's over. There's going to be jobs.
Didn't his contract run through the 30th or something? Like they have to do this. He's still the interim coach. They're not going to make him. They better not make him the full-time coach. And even if they did, I wouldn't like it because it doesn't strive for anything bigger. But at the same time, I think he's done like everything we've kind of wanted him to do.
He's actually, I mean, yeah, I was going to say, after the last friendly, I think it was, I said, realistically, he's done everything you'd ask of him so far. Like to a certain extent, he's kind of earned the right to keep doing this. Don't get me wrong. I want a name. I want a bigger picture guy in here, but he's brought in young guys. He's tried out new talent. He hasn't necessarily put outcomes above all else, because I think that was one of my points earlier. Like, if you knew you were only going to have this job for 4 months or whatever, and it was just gone after that, wouldn't you kind of just want to pad your own stats? Like, you would intentionally play the best team you could, because you want to at least have somewhere, like when somebody looks up the Wikipedia page 20 years from now or whatever the hell it is at that point, and they look at former U.S. managers and it says Dave Sarachan with 100% wins or something like that. Like, why wouldn't you want to go down as like the winningest coach of all time or something? He's not focused on getting those results. He's focused on finding the next generation of talent. To an extent, I have to credit the guy for doing what was better for the program overall than what was better for him.
I guess I get 2 points. The first question is, if Wikipedia is still around in 20 years, are they still asking for $3 a year from everybody? Most people still giving, might be $4, but yeah, it will. And will everybody still keep doing it out of guilt?
If everybody just does it, it would be over within an hour. We should do that here at USfanTV.
So they claim.
And then my other point is, yeah, Pat, you're right on. My opinion is the same as the rest. It's a whole lot of meh. They had to extend him. He's done everything. He's done everything they wanted him to do. I agree with Chris again. Shit. But
if he's still coach, for Brazil or for Mexico in September, I won't be worried. I'll be starting to go, okay, who do we have here? I would have expected to hire by now. If he's still coach like through the 6 friendlies that we're playing, maybe I'll have some concern there. But even then,
but Ernie Stewart's just jumped in. I mean, I know he doesn't have final say, but he's going to have a lot of say as to who they hire. He's fine for now.
As I say,
I think he still has a role once this is all said and done. He's been a good company guy for the U.S. national team for a lot of years. There's a role for him. I see him his contract being extended. Maybe not. Ryan's right. Ryan, you're right.
Well played, Ryan.
He has.
I've agreed with Chris way too often. This is starting to depress the shit out of me too. I've got a cold. Does that matter?
And a new haircut.
Oh, eventually I had to get a haircut. The Army says I can't carry the full beard going, so. And I only have 2 weeks till drill again. Yay. Do we want to talk about Hope Solo, Pat?
So she, I guess you could say, took some heat because she said that the average cost of soccer to play soccer is $15,000, which this is another mess story to me. Obviously, I mean, Hope's crazy, but so who knows what she meant, but I don't think she meant average. I think she meant it can cost that much, which it can cost that much, but it's certainly not the average. I think her overall point was a good one, is that it's very expensive to play, and it prohibits some kids from playing. That's a problem. Other countries don't have that problem.
Are you paying $15,000 for Finn?
I am not. I am paying probably
$30. It's 30.
Yeah.
And I get it, seeing people take shots at Rovell. I guess I appreciate that better than anybody, because Rovell deserves everything he gets.
Yeah.
But Rovell was right in the sense of it doesn't cost that much. Yes, if you're on the top end, it's going to cost that much. But then again, you look at somebody like a Michael Phelps. You look at somebody who's going to these Generation Adidas basketball camps. They're probably paying a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a crazy amount of travel. If you're playing DA or something like that, there's a lot of travel involved.
Yeah.
So your away games are in different states a lot of the time. So,
right.
But every one of your games has college and sometimes pro scouts at it. And, if you're going to get a college scholarship or get a career out of it, I know parents who have directly said to me, they view it as an investment, that they're paying this now so they don't pay for college later. That's how a lot of the parents who do it look at it, which I think is
stupid.
Yeah. It takes the fun away from it, but
and Chris, your kids are playing too, right, Chris? I know Pat. I mean, I know who Pats are playing for. Yours are as well, right?
They're not right now.
But I guess my question is, same thing. Are you paying a 15? I mean, no, I know you're not paying 15.
Oh, I'm not,
no.
But if Finn's 7, and so if he makes it onto a DA team, but when he's 14 or whatever, I probably will be paying a lot more, and I'll figure out how. I don't know how I'm going to come up with that, but I'll maybe more of you guys click the damn ads. We can make that happen.
I guess that all said.
This is how you guys can support soccer growth in the United States.
I guess at that point we could send you down. Chris, we could do what we've said on the shows. Pat's not here. Send him down to Union Station with a shopping bag and a shopping cart and brown bags and start panhandling. So, I guess you know what? For 99% of the people, it's not 15,000 a year. No. Is it 1 to 2? For travel soccer, yes.
You're playing travel, yes, it is. So when you factor in uniform fees and tournament fees and that sort of thing, oh my God, Zach, for soccer growth.
Zach,
I would have said for $1.99 that would have got you Chris's mom, but that's
would have said $1.05.
That's for freedom.
Freedom costs $1.05.
Yeah, that was worth the $2 just for the joke right there.
No, I see her point. Yes, if you want to play at the top levels, it can get expensive. If you're that good, they find a way to get it paid.
I also will tell you that if your kid's really good, they start to compete against one another to bring down the costs for you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Hope's larger point, word choice aside, her larger point was right. It's really expensive. So,
but again, I'm going to go back to, we'll talk about this in the sense of every sport. Travel baseball, travel lacrosse, football, travel basketball. They're all expensive. But and I get it. Everybody's like, pay for play needs to come. If somebody can tell me how to reduce the costs, I'm all for it. But you're telling me, and you guys are parents, you're telling me any one of these
Pro-rel.
God damn it, Pat. That was awesome. That was absolutely outstanding. But my point being, like I said, tell me how to make it cheaper. Tell me how it's not fun for these kids to travel and go do some of these things. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's a hell of a lot of fun for the kids too.
Yes, Ryan, if you give us $3, we'll give you a shout out. You'll actually be able to ask Chris anything you want. Specifically Chris, though.
Zero anonymity. We do not have a cat condo in Manhattan. We are working on one in Peoria, Illinois, though.
I sang that to Bruno Mars. Cat condo in Manhattan. And when did you show up, Anonymity?
It's about fucking time.
Have you been here, or did you just show up? I haven't seen you on this thing.
Roger, you just got a shout out for asking if you get a shout out.
That's fair. That's a great point.
So are we going to join the rest of the media and not caring about the U.S. soccer financials being disclosed? I see that the Bro-Rel boys are still all butthurt about it, that nobody's paying attention to it. Because there's this other soccer tournament going on, but the Bro-Rel boys are all butthurt about it.
Some of those guys, and again, I like Pro-Rel. I would like to see it. But some of those guys make it just, it's painful. Like this, this is a sport. This is fun. This is what we're supposed to do because our otherwise terrible lives need something fun to, to get us through our day, right? This is a diversion. This is something that we're supposed to hold.
If not for this, we would probably kill ourselves.
We're a bunch of Bourdains hanging around with,
That was probably too soon. That was kind of brutal.
I'm a big fan, though. I feel like I knew him, so I feel like I get away with that. But seriously, like, this is supposed to be fun, and some of these insufferable bastards are just like, the World Cup is happening, and you're caring. I get, yes, the financials are something we should care about, and if I had time in the day, I would actually read them, but I don't. I have time for the actual games that are fun that I want to watch. So it's supposed to be fun. That's all I'm saying. And it's not that they don't make good points every now and then. MLK fought for pro rel or whatever they're saying now, but yeah, it's just supposed to be fun. That's all I have to say. Am I turning into TJ?
TJ's lost his edge. Hat guy is getting TJ's edge.
The only thing that's going to happen. The only thing that's going to happen next is Chris and I are going to agree an entire show, and at that point, that may be when we cancel it, or we just got to be absolutely annihilated when we do this, one way or the other. At that point, but no, Pat, you're right though. They do not make it fun. Now, I don't care about Bro Rel. I never have. If it happens, great.
Well, I mean, really Garber pays you specifically to say that. So,
but I got paid in Garber bucks, which is really about the same as getting Chuck E. Cheese dollars. I mean, in that sense,
it's allocation money, isn't it?
Yeah, but I haven't been able to sell your ass anywhere.
So you got free tickets to a game in Austin. Can't use those yet, but yeah, I care about it to the extent that I enjoy it. Like, I like a bottom of the table scrap. I think I see the value in it, but to say that it's the most important single thing that should rule our lives and we should care more about that than what's actually happening in games we enjoy watching, it's not a big enough deal for me to get to that point.
I think Bro Rel hit its peak moment when Tinfoil Ted got trolled by Applebee's. That was the end of it from there. So no, Ryan, I will never agree on Bro Rel. I think Bro Rel is a waste of time. Bro Rel isn't going to change a goddamn thing. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm going to go see Louisville City again, in New York City. Yeah, no. It's not going to happen. Nobody cares.
It works on a certain level, but it needs to be an organic thing. It can't spring up financially, and it's hard to establish after the fact. Because
now, I want to know: am I getting the VIP park? Am I getting the VIP parking at Austin Stadium for the Columbus Crew, or am I getting the one over by the Formula One track so I can at least go watch other shit? The Circuit of the Americas.
You can have whatever you want.
All right, so that sounds good, but
you can go watch F1 if you want to. Is F1 still in Austin? Are they still doing that?
Yeah, Circuit of the Americas. They're still using it. It's the biggest draw it's the biggest crowd of the year.
Is it really?
You'd be surprised how much people don't show up. Indy was, even the year where they had only four cars going out, that was still the biggest crowd they had of the year.
I should be a bigger F1 fan. I sometimes watch the Monaco race.
I would like to. I watched Monaco. I actually watched Monaco and only watched a few laps of the Indy 500 this year.
All right, F1 Fan TV starts right now.
Yes. I would like to go to Austin though and see that race, mostly because I just like Austin. But I've wanted to go since they brought it here.
All right, have we bottomed out for the night?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool.
All right, we'll do a show next week, probably. I mean, it's, I guess, Tuesday. Tuesday looks promising, so we'll maybe pencil that in right now. But you know how we roll, maybe not. This is USFan TV. We have a website and a social media channel or two that are all USFan TV. But
we are social media gurus.
We are. We could do a lot better with it, but we sometimes don't.
We don't care.
We don't have Snapchat though because Snapchat sucks.
Just Chris.
And we're too old for it. We're too old for it. we do have YouTube. And how do you know that? You are watching it right now. This is our channel. And we're very close to 1,300 subscribers. So you should. We may even be there at this point. We were pretty close to it like an hour ago. We may be there. So if you haven't subscribed, Anonymity, please do.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney.
You know, I guess my thought with big old Wayne Rooney is until he does a commercial with Urlacher and Sandberg, I really don't care.
Not a commercial. Every goddamn billboard on 294 from like Indiana all the way up to Wisconsin.
Restore 10. Would that be what this one is?
The people from Chicago will get that joke. Nobody else will. But yes, literally, Urlacher and Sandberg are on like every billboard, especially in the O'Hare area.
Restore is the
hair plugs.
Hair plug company that Brian Urlacher
which Pat probably should be a client for. That's why he wears the hat every night.
Yeah. You know, I wear the hat at this point because it's like I almost didn't wear it tonight, and then I realized I'm like the Edge from U2. If I don't wear it, it would confuse people.
People won't recognize me.
But like, if you look at like
Who's
my
that guy?
Instagram or something, I don't always wear a hat, but I do for this show. I started wearing the hat on this show because I have so much giant head with white skin that it was like messing with the camera, the iris on the camera, and I couldn't manually control it. So I just looked like Casper.
So kind of think Evan Eschmeyer or Remy from Higher Learning. That's what you got with Pat.
Yeah. So the hat kind of calms that down a little bit. It's for you that I wear the hat, to be honest. Not for anybody else. It's for you.
So I guess we forgot
about. You need me in this hat.
Sorry, I guess people were saying Bruce Arena was mouthing off about something. I don't care. The fuck if I care.
Fuck him. Seriously, he's trying to sell books. On Wayne Rooney, I all the comments you see are retirement league, retirement league, retirement league. You know what though? And I know that MLS probably needs to get away from this at some point, but I selfishly love it when dudes like that come over here so that we can go see, you know, Schweinsteiger or Henry or Rooney or Zlatan, whoever it may be. I like that we get a turn at them because, you know, I don't get to go to games in Europe I get over there once every couple of years. So, yeah.
No, and you agree. But with MLS, the guys that are coming over as a retirement league, they're not coming at 35, 36, 37. They're coming at 30, 31, 32. They're getting their
last. Rooney, that's very old because he's very broken down. But yeah, I mean,
but then he was 30 at 17.
That was just his hairline, dude.
And his gut.
Well, he's a Scouser. What do you expect? You feel better, Chris, that I said it so you didn't have to? No, I agree, Pat. It's one of those, we don't get to see him in Europe. We get to see him here. But they're not as, you know, like Henry. They still had something left. Not like, who was the guy that played for Red Bulls that went on vacation half the time? Or
Rafa Marquez.
Him too.
Who?
I'm going back further. Played for Germany. Mateos. Lothar Mateos.
Yeah.
Lothar Mateos. Yeah.
And whichever Louis Hernandez with LA Galaxy and any number of the LA Galaxy Mexican All-Stars that would show up a couple times. You know, I started to get the sense at that point with MLS that it was almost like a league of their own with Tom Hanks coming out waving his little hat. That was about the extent of what those guys were doing. I feel like the one that flipped the switch on it was
Blanco.
Yeah.
Golden balls. Oh, for the Mexican players, yeah. Blanco
was
both. Good.
No, I think for the league.
Blanco, I feel guys kind of across the board.
Yeah.
That kind of Blanco I thought was the first one that really came in and said, I'm going to take this seriously, not make it a retirement league and showed something. I obviously went on back to Mexico and played some. And maybe Golden Balls too to an extent. I mean, when he was here, he was not hurt. He was fine, but still Golden Balls. And will Miami ever get a franchise?
I think
supposedly they're getting their act together now.
All right, TJ, do you have any final words?
Follow Chris on Snapchat.
We tell you the handle, but we can't say it here. Chris, do you have any final words?
Thanks, everybody. You're done.
Goodbye, friends. You're done.